Welcome to Discover Georgia. My name is William King. Today I have with me Deputy Minister of Culture and Monument Protection of Georgia, Levan Kharatishvili. Sorry about that, it's a hard one. He's here to talk with us about the Creative Georgia Forum, which will take place next month, December 8th and 9th. Welcome to the program, Deputy.
Thank you. Thank you for the invitation.
You're welcome. Can you first tell us a little bit about the Ministry of Culture and the role it plays in the country? Just a broad idea.
Sure. From our perspective, actually, this is the most important ministry.
Of course.
And the main mission of the ministry is to create an enabling environment where all the cultural operators, all those who are involved in doing culture on an everyday basis will benefit. Mm-hmm. So the major idea and the major mission of the ministry is to support, to protect cultural heritage, to support creativity, and to support culture throughout the country, and also to make our culture popular abroad.
Okay, so we'll get to that towards the end. So there is a connection between the tourism sector and the Ministry of Culture. Okay, and some of a lot of the efforts lately, it sounds, has been spent on monument protection. Mm-hmm. Correct?
Yes.
Okay.
It is one of the main priorities of our ministry.
And it's probably quite costly too. It takes up quite a bit of the budget.
Is,
yeah.
Of course. Yes.
Okay. So let's move on to the topic at hand and tell us a little bit about the Creative Forum for those of us who aren't familiar with this.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Well, this is how we perceive the future of culture, actually. This is where creative industries is something that is very popular around the world, especially in Europe, especially in UK, in Eastern Europe as well, where creativity meets business in a way. It is when creative industries play a huge role in the country's economic and social development. This is the new vision, this is the new understanding that culture matters. This is actually the spillover effect of the culture, where culture contributes to the country's economic and social development. So what we want to achieve is we want to bring all major key experts from Europe to come to Georgia. So on 8th and 9th of December 2016, we will have 2 days forum, which will involve, as I said, the leading experts from Europe, as well as the success stories, in a sense, like the best examples of the Georgian creative industries. It will bring representatives of creative industries from Georgia, from Europe, also the private sector representatives, the policy institutions together to speak about the potential and the benefit of culture, creativity. We will be honored to have Prime Minister to open the forum. We will have different ministries from Eastern Partnership countries. We already have the confirmation from the Minister of Culture and Tourism of Azerbaijan. We will have the confirmation from the Minister of Culture of Moldova. We have the confirmation of the newly appointed Minister of Culture of Armenia. The first Deputy Minister of Ukraine, as well as representatives from the Ministry of Culture of Belarus will be coming to Georgia. So the ministries will be discussing the cross-border cooperation in regards to support of creative sector. We'll have the leading experts. We'll have Walter Zampieri, who is Director of General Education and Culture from the European Commission, and he will speak about the culture and creativity sectors within the European Union. We'll have Pierluigi Sacco, who is the Professor of Cultural Economics in the University of Milan. Mm-hmm. We'll have Mark Franco, who is advisor at Bozer Institute. We will have the Director of European Union Culture and Creativity Program, Simon Williams, and Tim Williams delivering their speeches on the perspective of the culture and creative industries cooperation. Thus, for 2 days, we will have intensive presentations, both from European experts and local experts, the Georgian experts, who will be delivering their best practices, and thus the audience will have an opportunity to grasp what the real potential of creative industries are, where are the benefits of cooperation, what are the prospects of cooperation within the country and abroad as well. what is most important aspect is that we'll have a special document prepared during the forum. It will be called a manifest on creative industries. This will be a document as a declaration. So after the end of the forum, we'll officially adopt this manifest that will express the readiness of the Georgian government as well as our guests on our cooperation in regards to support creative industries. We will also present the Creative Georgia roadmap that I have here with me, and I will give it to you.
That's before the event kicks off, yeah?
It will definitely be present. It will be actually presented during the forum. So this is the document that we have already elaborated, the document which outlines what has been already achieved in regards to support of creative industries and what are the plans of the Ministry of Culture of Georgia to engage and involve wider society into this program, which is called Creative Georgia. It is similar to programs like Enterprise Georgia or Film in Georgia, which mainly orients on development and enhancement of creativity in Georgia. So it literally means that we will conduct different training seminars, workshops in the future, starting in 2017, bringing the key experts in Georgia to deliver the trainings on creative industries, and thus enabling creative industries actors to have necessary skills to make their products more popular, to enable them to have the skills necessary to help to them to sell their products and thus make Georgian cultural products popular around the world and also beneficial in terms of financial benefit.
Let's talk about that quickly before we go on. This overlap between the creative industries and business. I believe in this press release there's a mention of Skype, which everybody knows what Skype is.
Yes.
And this is a Baltic
it is Estonian product.
Estonian project, right. And these are the types of things that we're talking about here. One of the types of things we're talking about here, where creativity industries can make successful business.
Absolutely.
Okay. Go ahead.
And there are so many examples throughout the world, and you mentioned Skype, and there are so many others. So what we have witnessed already is that no matter how the country is rich or poor, and no matter how economy of the specific country is developed, the culture shouldn't be based only or shouldn't receive funding only from the government. This is not good for the culture. It means that there is no creativity, there is no challenge there. So by supporting creative industries, we make culture and creativity sector more strong. It means that they can be independent, they can rely on their own work resources. It means that they have the capacity to engage more people and to sell their products, and thus it gives them additional sources of funding.
Outside of the country.
Outside of the country and inside as well, but not only based from the government support.
Philanthropic.
As well, but also by actually producing the products, for instance. Georgians are very popular, for instance, in one of the directions of creative industries, which is the arts and crafts. So arts and crafts are the typical examples of creative industries. There are 11 directions or 11 creative industries known throughout the world. It starts from cultural heritage, it includes advertisement, it includes design and fashion, it includes IT technologies and computer gaming and you name it. You know, every direction of culture has the potential to be creative industry. So it means that we have to enforce the audience that is working there, those who are doing culture or making culture on an everyday basis with the necessary skills to understand their real potential and to have the capacity to compete on the local as well as foreign markets.
Okay. And what are, for example, you were talking about creativity in the country of Georgia. What are some of the strengths in this field for Georgia? Are there some things that you could?
Of course, we have both strengths and weaknesses here. The weakness is that we still need to perceive the real, to understand the power of culture. In many senses, Georgians tend to toast for culture more than do something for the benefit of the culture. That is why we came up with the culture strategy document, which was, you can imagine, the country that says that culture is so ancient here, so important, that we never had a clear, consistent vision of what we want to achieve. So the new leadership of the ministry had come up with the strategy document called Culture 2025. So it gives you the 10-year vision, what we want to achieve. And creative industries is one of them. To answer your question, the strength in the sector is that we learn quite fast, and we are the fast learners. We have a growing market of arts and crafts industry. The fashion and design is doing very well. The film industry, which has very important successes already.
It's growing.
It is growing, definitely. We have the computer gaming and computer IT technologies, which are also developing, and I think that this is really the future. There are other directions that need support more, for instance, the theater industry, the cultural heritage, because we have to understand that we have to use every possibility, every inch of the culture can be beneficial, not only spiritually and culturally, but it can bring definite income. It is an income generating resource, and it's a really social beneficial as well.
How does, well, let's not just say schools, but let's say the universities in Georgia, in Tbilisi especially, where the population is, does that play a role in this as well? The universities and the types of, because I've been here 5 years, and I'm exaggerating, but it seems like everyone who comes out with a diploma is either a lawyer or studies international relations. How does this affect the goals that you are talking about here? Is that an issue? Is it a challenge?
It is a very true observation of yours, and we definitely want to challenge our youngsters to be more to think more as an entrepreneur. This is the main idea. So students are one of the major stakeholders as well as target groups of our program. We want to engage them more. This is the challenge, that our youngsters are concentrated mainly on popular disciplines, being lawyers or business administration, etc., etc.
Right.
We lack, for instance, professionals who wants to come in the sphere of culture. There are different disciplines in culture which lack the new generation coming there because of lack of the I think that lack of understanding or perceiving the prospects there of career growth, or maybe financial constraints in a sense that you can't make a lot of money there. So these are the taboos or perceptions that we want to actually ruin, and we want to say that culture really matters. It's not the thing that what you do for culture, but it's more the other way around, what culture can do for you. And there is a true benefit of culture. Culture really can bring money, and this is investment and not a waste of money. And our youngsters have to understand this, and this is why on 10th of December, after the forum, we have a special event. It's called a Team Lab, which means that we will bring 50 students from the different universities throughout the country, and throughout the day, the leading experts from the European Union will train them and share them the benefits of creative industries and we'll try to make them see where they can be engaged and what is that they can do in order to be actively engaged in creative industries.
So that might act as an inspiration to the students to see what's going on. Okay, so we will take a quick break and we'll come back in just a few minutes. Welcome back to Discover Georgia. I have a guest, Deputy Minister of Culture and Monument Protection, Levan Kharatishvili. We were talking about the marriage between culture and business and this overriding sense of entrepreneurialism,
Yes.
which is also, and that's what I wanted to get to. So at this what was it? The lab, yeah?
The team lab.
Team lab, right. So they're going to sort of express that they're to the students, the audience, that there is a link between, there needs to be an entrepreneurial spirit amongst all of this, correct? Yes. So it's different than just culture on its own. They're connected. All of these things together are connected. Okay.
Absolutely.
Interesting. Now, of these Eastern Partnership countries, we had talked before we went on the air, where Georgia lies in this sphere as far as success. Where does Georgia fit in this, within these countries, as far as this sphere goes?
Yeah, well, we are not shy on this, I must say, but we receive very often the evaluation that Georgia, well, in the sphere of culture, is leading in the Eastern Partnership countries, definitely. Georgia was the first country to become the member of European Union Creative Europe program, which is 1.46 billion euros budget program, and now the Georgian operators can definitely use this opportunity and be engaged in the projects and programs that are announced by the European Commission. And we try, this is the first forum within Eastern Partnership countries to be organized in Tbilisi. But apart from this event, there are a lot of other events that will be organized in Tbilisi during these 3 days. On 7th of December, for instance, we have the leading Creative Europe desks that will be coming to Georgia. They will have the discussion roundtable meetings and then information session for the Georgian operators. They will be sharing their experience with the Georgian community, how to be successful in the EU program Creative Europe. We'll have Eastern Partnership Culture and Creativity Program Steering Committee meeting. We'll have the Commons meeting under the Council of Europe. So you can imagine all these 3 events are happening on one day. Then we have 2 days forum, and then it is finalized with the team lab for the students. So we are very active in this endeavor. The cultural strategy document that I have mentioned already, we have the evaluation that the process that Georgia took to come up with the document. For 2 years we were preparing and elaborating the document with open discussions, debates and consultations, and involving the wider society throughout the country. The Council of Europe has made an assessment that this is truly an exemplary process for the rest of the Europe, how you can have an inclusive process while drafting a strategy document. So in a sense, we try to be very active, and I guess that we receive the benefits of being quite active, and that is why we but in a sense it is not our ambition to be leaders or to be like different from the other countries. Definitely we are doing this together and in very active cooperation with our partners in Ukraine, in Moldova, in Belarus, in Armenia, Azerbaijan.
How does tourism, we had a guest on last week. We talked a little bit about Georgian tourism, and it's hard to ignore the fact that each year, at least for the last 3 years, the number of tourists coming into this country it's almost double-digit growth, and the winter season, the ski season, hasn't even begun yet. So we were talking about, I think it was like 8.2 or 8.5% increase from last year. How does this facilitate the recognition and or exportation of Georgian culture? Does this help, do you think, the increased
I think that culture is one of the main reasons why the tourism is increasing, because we have initiated very important programs. For instance, the Check in Georgia program. The Check in Georgia is another evidence of how the culture can truly benefit economically, financially, and socially. It means that whenever we put an investment in a festival or in an event, it brings dividends and it brings the financial benefits. So it also makes the country popular regionally, and it dramatically boost the number of the tourists who want to come and to attend the festivals and events and cultural exchange programs, etc., etc. So culture, together with other institutions, of course, but Ministry of Culture plays a key and a very active role to support the increase of the tourism in our country, and also a very huge investment in the rehabilitation of our cultural heritage, which is also another sightseeing scenario for those tourists who are coming to the country. So, and in a sense, creative industries will then support even the operators within the cultural heritage to have the relevant and adequate facilities for tourism as well. So this is like a very complex strategy of our ministry, and which is definitely oriented on support of tourism and increase.
On the monument side of the cultural equation, is there a particular cultural monument or site in Georgia that is hands down the most sought after by tourists? Is there a statistic that you know, like whether it's in Gergeti, this in Gazbegi, or is there something that strikes you as most popular for tourists?
Well, Tcheta definitely is, and Svetis Roveli, for instance, definitely is the most popular place. Why? Because the major influx of the tourists, which is who are coming to Tbilisi, is like it takes you 15 minutes to go there and to see the ancient capital of Tbilisi, which is also the World Heritage Site. And it was in danger actually, and we very actively worked with UNESCO and with other institutions, and we managed to bring historical monuments of Tcheta to the ordinary, to the normal list, and not to be in the danger list anymore. We have specific tourists who are very much interested to go to the rural places or high mountainous places, and to visit the monuments of culture up in the mountains, and you name it. Actually, I think that every cultural monument has a decent number of the tourists, and we. Especially during the summer period, the western part of the country is more has more tourists, and we have different. We have Dadiani Palace. We have
that's Zugdidi,
it's in Zugdidi, which is very popular as well. We try also to organize some events within the cultural heritage monuments, and thus to make these monuments more popular. During the September, October, and November, we have more eastern part visit because the wine season, and we have cultural heritage visitors there.
Do you think that, this is just my assessment, maybe I'm wrong, but do you think that Georgian national dance like Sukashrilevi, do you think these are like hugely important tools to facilitate recognition of Georgia? I feel like everybody loves this traditional Georgian dancing.
They are, of course. Well, they are our cultural diplomats in a sense.
That's what I meant
we
to say,
perceive them, and we have Georgian folk, for instance, polyphony as an intangible world heritage under UNESCO, and we try to use our culture as the tool for cultural diplomacy, and definitely Sukhishvili is one of the diamonds of the Georgian cultural traditions, and I think whenever they have a concert, we have the major interests, and all of their tickets are sold, and they are very active not only within the country but also abroad. We just recently opened the new opera building, so we have very good seasons of opera, and definitely it also helped to increase the number of the tourists coming to Georgia. And
from the post-Soviet space, because these operas are in the Georgian or Russian language, right?
Okay. Yes.
Okay, very interesting. Well, I'm afraid we're running out of time. Again, December 7th, 8th and 9th, the Georgia Creative Forum will take place. Where's the venue, actually?
It's in Techpark.
Up in Tetsminda.
Tetsminda,
And maybe you could just quickly tell us about Techpark before we forgot about that.
Yeah, well, this is an amazing place, actually. This is where creativity meets new technology. This is the initiative of the Prime Minister and the Ministry of Economy as well, which is having an environment where you have all the new technologies there, and it is open, it is free. It means that every individual with a brilliant idea or just innovative solution can register, use the equipment there free of charge, and this is something that will help the startup businesses to evolve, to grow, and I think that this is a very wise decision to have Techpark type of the environment set throughout the country, and this is the policy of the Ministry of Economy now, to have these spaces, the free spaces, the cooperating spaces, the startup and the incubation spaces available for the wider audience.
So it acts as a catalyst of sorts for the people.
Absolutely.
Okay, once again, the Creative Georgia Forum will take place December 8 and 9. And you can search that on the internet, and there's plenty of information about that. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you.